That night, New York's lights sparkled extra bright. The studio was full of people, super quiet, like they knew something huge was coming. Nobody was sure what, but it felt big, like it could change everything. Karoline Leavitt walked on stage, not as a fancy White House person, not as a politician, but as someone with a secret that could shake things up. She held a plain little USB drive, gripping it tight like it was super important. She didn't need a microphone or a speech, just the truth and one person to face. That person was Oprah Winfrey, the famous talk show lady, one of the most powerful people ever. But tonight, Oprah wasn't asking questions. She was the one being asked. It was the start of a wild night when the news couldn't control the story, when a big star faced tough questions, and maybe when the truth finally came out. Comment where you're watching from and hit subscribe so you don't miss the latest gossip. The studio felt heavy, like everyone was holding their breath. Stage lights shone on Karoline Leavitt at the podium, her eyes super serious, standing tall without shaking. Her face showed she meant business, no extra moves, no doubt. Across from her, Oprah sat in a fancy black chair, arms crossed, lips tight, with a tiny fake smile. Her eyes, which usually make people feel warm, looked tired. The host stepped to the stage's center, looking at the crowd, where tons of eyes were glued to the drama, like it was a big courtroom scene. His voice was clear, every word careful. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't often see moments like this, where two huge American powers, politics and TV, meet. He paused, letting the words sink in. Politics and media shape what we think, our laws and our history. He looked at Karoline, speaking slowly. Miss Leavitt, we hear you have info that could change how people see Oprah Winfrey, a super famous TV star. Is that true? Leavitt nodded, holding the USB tight, then turned on a big screen behind her. An email popped up titled, Film Discussion Oprah and Harvey 2014. We start with Harvey Weinstein, Leavitt said, her voice sharp like a knife. This email shows Oprah knew Harvey was doing bad things, but still worked with him to save. A movie called The Butler. The screen showed a line, Oprah, Harvey, keep things steady. Don't let small problems mess up the project. The crowd whispered, some pulling out phones to record. Those small problems, Leavitt said, were rumors of Harvey's bad behavior, which Oprah ignored. Oprah stood up fast, her voice sharp but smooth. That email is twisted. I only worked with Harvey on the movie, nothing else. I didn't know about those stories until everyone did. Some people clapped for her, but others gave her side-eye. Leavitt didn't budge. She waved, and the screen showed a video of a young woman, about 30, with red eyes but a strong voice. She said her name was Sarah Thompson, an actress who worked with Harvey. In the video, Sarah said, I met Oprah at a movie event in 2012. I told her Harvey tried to hurt me in a hotel room. I begged her to help, but she just touched my shoulder and said, there are bigger things to protect. After that, I got kicked off the movie. The crowd went quiet, some covering their mouths, shocked. Sarah ended, Oprah knew, but she cared about her image. Leavitt looked at Oprah, her voice low and mad. Sarah asked for your help, but you stood with a bad guy. Why didn't you protect her? The crowd got loud, some yelling, Oprah, answer, while others clapped for her. Oprah shook her head, gripping her chair. I don't remember that talk. If it happened, I wouldn't tell her to stay quiet. This is an attack on me. The crowd got wild, but Leavitt stayed calm, her eyes on Oprah. She waved for another document, a memo from Harvey's company, from an assistant, saying Oprah wanted to hush up an actress's complaint, probably Sarah's. This isn't random, Leavitt said, her voice like a sword. Oprah didn't just know about Harvey's actions, she helped hide them to save her movie. The crowd went crazy, some shouting, Tell the truth, Oprah, while others shook their heads, not believing it. The host raised his hand, trying to calm things. Karoline, these are big claims. Are you sure this memo is real? Leavitt nodded. eyes still on Oprah. Everything I show comes from trusted places, ready for anyone to check, but Sarah and others can't wait anymore. She paused, looking at the crowd. And this is just the start. More secrets are coming. An Oprah fan yelled, "This is a mean attack. Oprah's all about kindness." Some news channels loved Leavitt, while others called her a troublemaker. The studio felt hot, like a fire was burning. Everyone was glued to the stage, phones up, recording. The air was thick with tension, whispers spreading. Karoline Leavitt stood tall at the podium, lights on her serious face, still holding the USB, like it held all the truth. Across from her, Oprah leaned forward, hands tight on her chair, knuckles white. Her face stayed calm, but her eyes showed worry. The host nodded, his voice deep, like he was steering a ship in a storm. "Ladies and gentlemen, you've just seen big news about Oprah Winfrey and Harvey Weinstein, a tough topic that needs honesty." He looked at Karoline, polite but focused. "Miss Leavitt, can you tell us more?" Leavitt nodded slightly. No smile, just focus. "Let's talk about Oprah's Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa," she said, her voice steady, every word clear like dropping pebbles in a pond. She touched a panel, and the big screen showed a picture of a school with white gates and trees under a sunny sky. "This school," Leavitt said slowly, "was called a place of hope, to help girls become leaders." She paused, and the crowd held its breath. But for some girls, it was where bad things started that hurt them forever. The room got super quiet. No phones, no whispers, just the school picture fading as a new video was about to play. Everyone knew something heavy was coming. Leavitt's voice got stronger, full of controlled anger. In 2007, a dorm worker named Virginia Makopo was accused of hurting students. Oprah went to South Africa, said sorry, and promised to fix things. But what did she really do? She paused, then waved for a video. The screen showed a young woman, her face half hidden, voice shaky but strong. She said her name was Amina, a former student. "I was 14 when it happened," Amina said, her voice full of pain. "The worker Virginia picked on me and others. We told the school, hoping Oprah would help. She came, said sorry, but nothing changed. Virginia got off free, and we were told to forget it." Amina's voice broke. "Oprah's sorry was like a breeze. It didn't help. We needed protection." The crowd gasped, some shaking their heads, others whispering in shock. Leavitt faced Oprah, her eyes steady. "You knew about the abuse, Oprah. You had the power to help, but you got lawyers to free Virginia. Why did you abandon those girls?" The question hit hard, and the crowd exploded, some shouting, "Tell the truth," while others clapped for Oprah. Oprah stood, looking hurt but strong. "I put my heart into that school," she said, her voice firm but emotional. "I went to South Africa, met families, made the school safe. These stories are twisted to hurt me." Leavitt didn't back down. She waved, and the screen showed a contract from 2007 between Oprah's lawyers and a South African law firm. "This shows you paid to hide the case," Leavitt said, her voice cold. "You didn't just say sorry, you covered it up to protect the school's name." The crowd roared, some booing, others stunned. A woman shouted, "Why Oprah?" while another waved her hand, still loyal. Oprah's eyes narrowed, her voice loud with anger. "That contract is wrong. I did everything to protect those girls. This is an attack." Boos mixed with cheers. But Leavitt stayed calm, eyes on Oprah. "Amina and the girls deserve protection. But you chose your image. That's the truth." The crowd got loud again, some yelling, "Justice for Amina!" while others didn't believe it. The host raised his hand, trying to calm things. "Karoline, these are huge claims. Can you promise these documents are real?" Leavitt nodded, eyes on Oprah. "Everything I show is from trusted sources, ready to check. But victims, like Amina, can't wait." She looked at the crowd. "And we're not done. More secrets are coming." The studio stayed tense, nobody talking, all eyes on Karoline Leavitt, standing strong at the podium, lights on her serious face, her eyes not blinking. Across from her, Oprah sat still, hands gripping her chair, lips tight, her famous comforting. Eyes now showed a bit of worry, like glass about to crack. The host fixed his microphone, his voice steady but a little rushed. "Leavitt," he said, quieter than before, "this info is heavy. Can you share more?" Leavitt took a slow breath, looking at the crowd, then locked eyes with Oprah. "Let's talk about another name," she said, her voice low, each word sharp. "Juan, a man Oprah called a great healer on her show." She pressed a button, and the screen showed a 2010 clip from Oprah's show. Oprah looked happy, her voice excited. "He's helped thousands feel hope again, with a healing energy I've never seen." The crowd stirred, some frowning, looking at Oprah with curiosity, not anger. Leavitt didn't need to say much. The clip made people wonder. "But Juan wasn't a healer," Leavitt said, her voice full of anger. "He was accused of hurting hundreds of women, and Oprah made him famous." She waved, and the screen showed a video of a woman about 40 with a strong voice. She was Maria Costa, who went to Juan because Oprah praised him. "I saw Oprah on TV saying Juan was great," Maria said, her voice shaky but clear. "I trusted her, so I went to Brazil to heal from something bad. But Juan took me to a private room and hurt me." Maria's eyes were red. "I felt betrayed. Oprah made me believe in a monster." The crowd went quiet, some covering their mouths, horrified. A man yelled, "Oprah, why?" Leavitt faced Oprah, her voice firm. "Maria and hundreds of women went to Juan because of you. You made him famous, but when the accusations came, you stayed quiet. Why?" The crowd got loud, some demanding answers, others clapping for Oprah. Oprah stood, her voice shaky but calm. "I shared Juan because I believed in him then. When the stories came out, I stepped back. I'm not responsible for what he did." Leavitt didn't stop. She waved, and the screen showed a financial record from Oprah's network OWN, showing money from a group linked to Juan in 2011 after she promoted him. "You didn't just share Juan," Leavitt said, her voice sharp. "You took money from his people. You made money from a bad guy's fame." The crowd gasped, some shouting, "Shameful," while others shook their heads, not believing. A woman yelled, "Oprah, explain." Oprah shot back, her voice loud with anger. "I didn't take money to promote anyone. Those documents are fake, and I won't let this ruin me." Her fans clapped, but the boos were louder. Leavitt kept going, her voice heavy. "You built your image as an inspiration, but there are more lies." She waved, and the screen showed a quote from Oprah's aunt in a book saying Oprah's story about being poor and keeping roaches as pets was made up. "You created a story to sell books, while people like Maria suffered for trusting you." The host jumped in, his voice nervous. "Karoline, you're making lots of claims. Can you prove these documents are real?" Leavitt nodded, eyes on Oprah. "Everything I show is from trusted sources, ready to check. But victims like Maria can't wait for justice." She looked at the crowd, her voice soft but strong. "They deserve to be heard, and the truth must come out." The host leaned forward, nodding, his voice loud like he was ending a wild moment. "Thank you, Karoline, for sharing this info. But Karoline stepped forward, raising her hand gently, not rude, but firm. "Not yet," she said, calm, but strong. "There's one more big piece the public needs to see." The host stepped back, nodding, knowing the stage was hers. Karoline touched the panel, and the screen showed emails with the subject "Confidential Production Issues, Own Publicity, Studio Expectations." The emails were between studio people, PR teams, and Oprah's name kept popping up, planning how to shape stories. One line in bold red said, "We should ensure Monique's narrative remains off-message. Oprah will handle it." Karoline looked up, her eyes serious. "This isn't just about a PR fight. This shows how Hollywood quiets people who don't follow its rules." And Oprah helped. The studio air was heavy. The host didn't speak, and cameras zoomed in on Oprah's face. She wasn't asking questions now. She faced a heavy silence where every answer would be judged. Monique starred in Precious, a movie Oprah made, Leavitt said, her voice low but strong. But when Monique wouldn't promote it overseas, for free, her career tanked. Why? Because Oprah made sure of it. She waved, and a video of Monique appeared, her voice bold. I told Oprah I had a family, a talk show, and a comedy tour, Monique said, her eyes fierce. I wasn't supposed to fly to France for free. After that, Oprah told people I was hard to work with, and Hollywood shut me out. The crowd stirred, some gasping, others whispering. Leavitt faced Oprah, her voice cold and sharp. Monique stood up for herself, and you punished her. You used your power to blacklist her. How do you explain that? The crowd got loud, some yelling, Oprah, speak, while others clapped for her. Oprah stood, her voice annoyed but controlled. I supported Precious to share important stories. She said, each word careful. Monique made her own choices, and I didn't hurt her career. These claims are nonsense. Her fans clapped, but doubt was growing. Leavitt didn't stop. She waved, and the screen showed emails from 2010, supposedly, between Oprah and a big Hollywood producer. One line from Oprah said, Monique's personality is an issue. Move forward without her. Leavitt's voice was strong. This isn't a guess. You called Monique trouble, and Hollywood listened. You didn't just make movies. You controlled careers. The crowd roared, some booing, others stunned. A man shouted, Why, Oprah? While a woman shook her head, still loyal. Oprah snapped back, her eyes flashing. That email is fake, she said, her voice loud. I've spent my life opening doors, not closing them. Monique's career was her own fault, not mine. Her words got cheers from fans, but the mood was shifting, with many looking doubtful. Leavitt kept going, her voice sharp. Not just Monique, she said. You shaped Hollywood, deciding who gets to shine and who gets pushed out. She waved, and the screen showed a list of names, actors, writers, directors, who got in trouble for challenging Oprah. The host jumped, in his voice urgent. Karoline, you're saying Oprah controls Hollywood. Can you prove this? Leavitt nodded, her eyes steady. These documents and stories are from trusted sources, ready to check, but the pattern is clear. Oprah's power has a cost. She looked at the crowd, her voice softer but firm. Monique and others paid that price. The crowd was caught in a storm of drama, eyes locked on Karoline Leavitt, standing strong at the podium, the lights shining on her icy face. The USB in her hand felt like a symbol of truth, making the studio feel even heavier. Across from her, Oprah sat still, hands gripping her chair, her face showing tension, anger, and a bit of helplessness after the Monique claims. The host, sweating, held the microphone close, his voice a bit shaky, but trying to stay professional. Leavitt, you've shared huge claims, and our audience is watching every detail, he said, taking a deep breath, looking around, before focusing on her, his voice warmer. Do you have more to share to help us see the full story? Leavitt took a deep breath, looking at the crowd, then locked eyes with Oprah. We've talked about Harvey Weinstein, the South Africa school, João, and Monique, she said, her voice low but strong, like a final hit. But this ties it all together. A recording showing Oprah knew about the bad stuff, but hid it. She pressed a button, and the screen played a sound, Oprah's voice clear in a private talk. We need to keep Harvey stable, Oprah's voice said coldly. If this gets out, the whole project will fall apart. The crowd was shocked, whispers exploding like waves. This recording, Leavitt said, her voice sharp, was made in 2013 when Oprah talked about Weinstein with someone. She knew about his behavior but protected her own interests. The crowd went wild, some standing, shouting, Oprah, how could you? while others shook their heads, not believing. Oprah jumped up, her face pale, her voice shaking with anger. "That recording is fake. I never said that. This is a plot to ruin me." Her fans clapped, but the boos were louder. Leavitt didn't waver, her eyes on Oprah. "You can deny it, but the truth stays. You knew about Weinstein, the girls in South Africa, Joan, and you hurt Monique, all for fame and power." Her words were like a storm sweeping away the quiet. The crowd got chaotic, some recording, others shouting for justice. A woman yelled, "Oprah, explain!" while a man shouted, "Caroline's right." Oprah, losing her usual cool, stepped closer to the podium, pointing at Leavitt. "You're part of a dirty political plan," she shouted, her voice sharp. "I've spent my life helping others, and you dare attack me." The crowd split, half clapping for Oprah, half booing. The host raised his hand, trying to calm things. "Everyone calm down. Oprah, do you have more to say?" he asked, his voice almost lost in the noise, but Oprah didn't answer. She turned, eyes flashing, and walked off the stage fast, leaving the crowd stunned. Boos and cheers mixed into a loud storm. Leavitt stood strong, her eyes following Oprah's exit. She turned to the crowd, her voice low but powerful. "Oprah may leave, but the truth stays. Victims like Sarah, Amina, Maria, and Monique deserve to be heard. I'm here for them." The crowd exploded, many standing to clap, while others sat, shocked. The host, looking exhausted, tried to keep the show going. "Caroline, this is a huge moment. How do you feel?" he asked, his voice shaky. Leavitt looked at the camera, her eyes steady. "I'm not here to tear anyone down. I'm here for the truth. Those who've been hurt deserve justice." Her words got huge applause, the studio shaking with energy. Leavitt sat down, her heart racing. She knew she'd pushed things to the max, but the fight wasn't over. Oprah's exit was a small win, but she'd be back. The host, trying to move on, turned to the crowd. "We've seen an unforgettable moment. Caroline, any final words?" Leavitt stood, eyes on the camera. "Everyone, the truth doesn't stop here. Today was just the start. Stand for justice." The crowd roared, the studio like a sports arena, and Leavitt knew she'd started a huge media storm. The storm didn't stop as Karoline Leavitt left the podium, the stage lights dimming, but the drama hung in the air like a sharp knife. Oprah had walked off, leaving the crowd shocked and split. Some still clapped, calling her name, while others whispered, their eyes full of doubt after the big reveals. The host, his face tense, tried to end the show with a shaky voice. "Thank you, Karoline Leavitt, for an unforgettable talk show. We'll be back soon." But the crowd didn't want to leave, their phones glowing, capturing the moment. Outside, the internet went wild. Social media exploded with millions of posts in hours. One user wrote, "Karoline Leavitt made Oprah walk off stage." But Oprah's fans fought back, saying, "This is a political attack. Oprah's all about kindness, not evil." Some news channels called Leavitt a hero, with headlines like "White House Press Secretary Shakes Up Oprah's World," while others called her a troublemaker and Trump's tool. Social media split into two sides, each arguing like they were ready for a big fight. Leavitt, backstage, felt the weight of it all. She sat in a waiting room, still holding the USB, her eyes far away. Her phone buzzed with notifications, but she ignored them, thinking of Sarah, Amina, Maria, and Monique, people who trusted her to share their stories. But that pride was heavy with pressure. An assistant rushed in, voice quick. "Caroline, reporters are outside. They want to talk." Leavitt nodded, knowing this was just the start of a bigger fight. Soon, criticism hit hard. An independent reporter posted, "Leavitt's playing a political game. Who's behind her, Trump or someone else?" The post got tons of shares, making people question her. Some Oprah fans attacked Leavitt, calling her a wrecker. One mean comment said, "Leavitt's just Trump's puppet, attacking Oprah because she's liberal." The words stung, but Leavitt tried to stay strong. Meanwhile, Oprah didn't stay quiet. From her office, she did a short online press conference on OWN, her voice serious but firm. I've spent my life inspiring people. Today's claims are, trying to ruin my legacy, but I won't let them define me. Her words fired up her fans, but it wasn't enough. Owen lost viewers, and some sponsors pulled out, scared of the drama. Plus, some victims of Joe and Weinstein thanked Leavitt, making Oprah's side weaker. Back at the White House, Leavitt had an urgent meeting with her team. An advisor warned, "Karoline, you've stirred up trouble. The media's digging into your life. Be ready." She nodded, knowing she couldn't back down. It wasn't just for her, it was for those hurt. A post from an anonymous user stopped her. "Thank you, Karoline, for speaking for us. Don't give up." It was like a light, reminding her why she started. The talk show's audience spread the story worldwide, debating if Leavitt was a hero or a destroyer of an icon. The show's video hit YouTube, getting millions of views fast. Comments were a war zone. Leavitt's a hero versus Oprah's the victim. Leavitt knew she'd changed how people saw Oprah, but it came with division and pressure. The next day, pale sunlight came through the White House press room windows, shining on Karoline Leavitt at the podium, ready for a big press conference. The talk show storm hadn't calmed, and she knew the world was watching, not just the reporters in the room, but millions online, arguing about Oprah and the shocking news. Leavitt took a deep breath, looking at the crowd, her voice calm but strong. "Today I'm not here to say I won," she said, each word careful, like steps to the truth. "I'm here to ask everyone to look at the proof about Harvey Weinstein, the South Africa school, João and Monique, and decide for yourselves. The truth isn't mine or Oprah's. It belongs to those who've been hurt." Cameras flashed, catching every moment. Leavitt held up papers, copies of what she showed on the talk show. "All this is ready for anyone to check. Justice starts with being open." The story Karoline Leavitt exposes Oprah with shocking proof shows a big part of America today, the fight between truth, power, and responsibility in a world full of media and social networks. Through Leavitt's journey, confronting Oprah about Harvey Weinstein, the South Africa school, João and Monique, the story shows how split people are. Some call Leavitt a justice hero, while others defend Oprah as a kind icon. Social media, hashtags, and the pressure Leavitt faced, like mean messages and media digging, show America's divided world and cancel culture, where someone can be a star or ruined in hours. The lesson is about balancing courage to speak out with understanding the consequences. Leavitt challenged Oprah, a huge icon, because she believed in justice for victims like Sarah, Amina, Maria, and Monique. But the cost, doubt, threats, and family pressure shows speaking truth needs strength. In real-life America, where online fights can destroy reputations, everyone must think, do they have proof and strength like Leavitt to face power? At the same time, listen to both sides, like the split audience, to not get lost in public opinion and miss the truth. Be brave but smart, because truth is a tough journey, not just a goal. Thanks for joining us to explore Karoline Leavitt's shocking story. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to keep fighting for justice in the next one.